J.R. Shepard has made it back to victory lane last week in Georgia and has now extended his lead in the point standings. But now Shepard will have to swim with the Sharks of the Bootleg Racing League in the Shark Bite capital of the world, New Smyrna Beach, Florida. New Smyrna Speedway, the home of the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing, will play host to round 6 of this illustrious championship. And you'll see it all here live on the Global Sim Racing channel. I'm Chris Foby, and joining me tonight will be Jeff Smith. At the control center is our director, Sean Ambrose, and he'll be using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. New Smyrna Speedway is a bad, fast, half-mile short track that takes a lot of skill to master, so we will now take a look at what goes into the perfect lap here in the hometown of Bob Ross.
Welcome to New Smyrna. Located just a few miles down the road on I-95 to its more celebrated neighbor, the Daytona International Speedway, New Smyrna is a hotbed of short track activity. During Daytona Speed Weeks, New Smyrna is the place to be, with races every night during Speed Weeks that bring out some of the biggest names in all of auto racing. New Smyrna is a fixture of the oval career path, so chances are you've had several races here. Whether it be a late model, the wheel-in modified, the street stock, the list is endless. Famous NASCAR drivers started their career here, and the track has proven to be an increasingly popular test venue among NASCAR's teams. 20 degrees of banking in the corner awaits our drivers today with 7 degrees on the front stretch. High banks, high speed, high excitement is the name of the game here at New Smyrna. Having to put together a lap here is extremely tricky, as you have to be on top of your game, not hit the wall, and manage that transition from the corners to the straightaways. Adding to the challenge of all of that, New Smyrna is a very narrow track. Pinpoint precision is an absolute must. All in all, it's widely agreed that New Smyrna is a legendary Florida short track, and you're going to see why today. Big time action, short tempers, and a shorter track. New Smyrna has it all. Enjoy today's broadcast.
All right, and that's what goes into the perfect lap here at New Smyrna Speedway. We're now going to bring in my colleague, Jeff Smith, here tonight to give us a little bit more information on this bad, fast little half mile we have today.
Yeah, Chris, this place is absolutely amazing to drive. You got these long straights and on this half mile with this 23-degree banking. It looks flat when you're down on the track, but it drives like almost not quite a Bristol, but a lot like a Bristol. So you can have that speed entering and it'll whip you around. You gotta watch getting in here too hot though. You're gonna have to take care of this stuff tonight. Not pressing too hard, not getting on the brake too hard, and able in order to make that car last the whole night.
Well, that's a very interesting perspective here on the New Smyrna Speedway. And to get a little more information on what we're seeing out there on the track today, we're going to bring in driver the number 24 car out of Warren, Michigan. That's Austin Belke. Austin, car looks great tonight with the new Jeff Gordon scheme on there. How's the car feeling?
Thanks. Car feels pretty good. It's kind of loose coming in, especially going out of the corners here.
Now, what are some of the tips and tricks to getting around this track?
I think for the most part, it's just like any other short track we go to on the schedule here at PRL. You got to make sure you hit your braking points, and you can't give it too much power too early in the corner, otherwise you'll spin out.
Now, there's some tough competition in this series. Who are you looking for besides yourself to be maybe a favorite to win tonight?
I mean, same guy as always. You got J.R. Shepard. He's really quick. James Lowell's really good around here. Justin Morton. Those guys are always really quick.
Now, Jeff, did you have any questions for Austin?
Good luck tonight, buddy. I got the chance to race next to you the other night, and I'll be watching you tonight. Good luck.
Thank you, man. That was a lot of fun.
All right, that's Austin Belke, driver, the number 24 Jeff Gordon tribute scheme. Closing in on about 5.5 minutes remaining in practice. Right now, J.R. Shepard is the top dog on the charts. And if you want to be the top dog when you're planning your vacation, we have a great sponsor for the series, the Cruise Shop. They've been in operation since 1986. They are a team of highly experienced travel agents that have a huge passion for travel, They specialize in cruises, all-inclusive resorts, escorted tours, Disney and family travel, groups, honeymoons, and weddings. They would love the opportunity to help you plan your next vacation. Give them a call today at 260-755-6125 or visit thecruiseshopfw.com. The Cruise Shop is dedicated to fulfilling their clients' dreams, one destination at a time. And speaking of that, Jeff, we have some drivers that are, they have some championship dreams they're looking to get accomplished here. So we're going to take a quick peek with 5 minutes remaining in our championship standings. Defending champion J.R. Shepard is still on top of the board, 22 markers ahead of Justin Morton, who was our winner a couple weeks back at Martinsville. Donnie Moore, who just picked up the win in the modified division for the Bootleg Racing League here right before this broadcast began. He runs in the third position, 44 points back. James Lowe continues his recovery from missing a night. He is now 48 markers back and still trying to march his way forward. And then we have Ruben Altice holding on to the fifth position, 66 points back from J.R. Shepard. And Jeff, that championship battle is heating up for sure.
Yeah, and these guys are battling each and every single night, and I really think we've got a lot of guys that are right there on the brink of finding that extra speed and being able to really fight with J.R. Shepard and James Lowe. These guys, this series is a little different. So we're in round 6 of 11. We got a 100-lap race. No tires in that 100 laps, and it is going to be a fight tonight, because if these guys get in there too quick and jam on the brakes, they're going to tear that right front up, and they're going to go around. You get one fast repair, so I don't see that becoming an issue. And we're going to invert the grid from last week, the top 8. So 8th place finisher from last week is going to start on the pole tonight. Chris, do you have that?
You know what? I managed to slip that one out of my notes, Jeff. I was transcribing results from last week and forgot to mark it down. But we do know J.R. Shepard was the winner last week, so he will be starting in that 8th position. And J.R. put on a commanding performance 1 week ago down at Lanier National, a track that definitely seemed to fit his driving style. But we switched things up here tonight, a slightly bigger track, and that Florida asphalt is known for being very grating on those tires. So look to see tire management being the name of the game tonight.
Yeah, definitely just take it easy here early and knowing what and where to give it power and just knowing where you got to go. So I I hate to use the Bob Ross entry here too early, but I think we have guys that are trying to paint an upset.
Yeah, that's a nice way to put it, really. And I mean, if you think about it, motorsports is just art on wheels. These drivers all paint their own picture of how they want to handle the track and how they approach. So definitely the Bob Ross analogy, I think, fits pretty well in this one. Just a couple minutes of practice left here at New Smyrna Speedway. Any thoughts you have to kind of put a bow on things before we head into the race?
I want to see these guys get up into that second lane and maybe get some 2-wide racing tonight. Really good about not being so aggressive, so they'll probably get spread out and it'll be picking them off one at a time. But I'm really hoping they use that second line up. We've seen them be able to use a little bit higher of a line on exit, so I'd imagine that with some rubber compound or with some rubber buildup, that second line would come in. So that'd be really cool to see them kind of get side by side in the corners tonight. These long straights and tight corners, though, you really got to be careful.
That is for sure. And I mean, with the long straightaways, you got to imagine when they're going into those corners, they are hauling the mail. And, you're going to have to put on the binders and probably don't want to do what Justin Morton just did and go through a full 4-wheel drift through the corner, because that'll use up those tires real quick.
Yeah, and you're going to see the guys that are pushing too early and getting too much, because they're going to get out there and then in about lap 25 they're going to fall off and you're not going to see them the rest of the night. So let's hope for the best and plan for the worst.
This is a very unique and prestigious track. Actually, not that long ago, the track was hit by, I believe, a tornado or maybe going through a hurricane or something, being down in Florida. But the main grandstands actually were torn down, and they've had to rebuild and persevere some hardships here at New Smyrna Speedway. Thankfully, the virtual world in great shape. They actually did get some racing in here earlier on for the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing, which was great to see. And now we're going to get things underway with the Bootleg Racing League on the virtual version of New Smyrna. So finishing up practice here, J.R. Shepard going to be top of the charts, and we'll have your starting lineup here momentarily as it populates. All right, so taking a look at that starting grid here today, looks like it's going to be Brad Speidel starting inside of row number 1 with the boss man himself, Lowell Jewell, outside of row 2. Fifth in points, Ruben Altice in third with his fourth place compadre there, James Lowe, in fourth. The winner of the modified portion of the Bootleg Racing League's event today, Donnie Moore, will be in row number 3 with Justin Morton, a winner this season, starting 6th. J.R. Shepard will be inside of row 4 with Chris Wolfson, that middle school principal from Pennsylvania, in 8th. Bruce Pearson in 9th, and then Joe Segala completes your top 10.
And rolling off here, 11th is Kurt Smith. 12th is Austin Belkey. 13th, John Hine. 14th, Brian Dean. 15th, Mike Holloway. 16th, Matt Shanoski. 17th, Tim Shanoski. And rounding out the field tonight, out of 18 cars, Todd Liston.
That's right. So an 18-car field for tonight's event. A lot of the big names that we're used to in the Bootleg Racing League. A few drivers that may have had some issues the last few weeks, and I believe were actually not in attendance last week. The Shanoski boys and Todd Liston hanging there at the back of the field. Those are some fast cars, so look for them to be making moves as the lights are off. So we are going green to start this one next time. It's going to be in the hands of Brad Speidel and Lowell Jewell up front. So that iRacing Mustang pace car leading them down the back straightaway here at New Smyrna Speedway. Once again, 100 laps is the distance for those of you joining us for the first time. It's going to be 100 laps, no green-white checker finishes. So once we reach lap 100, that is it. No tire changes, one fast repair will be the plan. They're going to roll off of turn 4. Green flag is out, and Speidel takes off into turn number 1. Lowell Jewell is going to stay up in that second groove. That's going to open the door for Ruben Altice momentarily, and already caution on the speedway. So trying to take a quick look here and see what drew the flag for us.
It's going to be Matt Shanoski getting around.
Oh, looks like the 00 Matt Shanoski. Shanoski was starting towards the back of the field, so we'll get the replay brought up here. You see them coming down to take the green.
It looks like
Liston
just wheel hopped and got Shanoski on the left rear.
So the 00 Matt Shanoski driver's side against the wall before the completion of turn 1, let alone lap 1. So that's going to draw our first caution here. A bit of an inauspicious start for us, Jeff. Hopefully this is not an indication of what's to come.
Yeah, we've gotten so many green flag races that they're just on point with these guys. I can't stress enough how awesome these guys have been over these past 5 weeks, and this is totally different for us as Todd Liston comes in and gets some of that damage repaired on the right front.
Yeah, it looks like it must have been pretty significant contact if we did have to come down and get that repaired. So Shanoski and Liston will tag back on to the back of the field, it looks like. So we're now working lap number 4 right now. Caution laps do count, as is somewhat traditional on the iRacing service. I know they've been working on developing and fine-tuning the no caution laps concept for some of the short track type series like we see here at the Bootleg Racing League. And does make it pretty cool once they get that dialed in and really perfected here to be able to get 100 green flag laps.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. I think a lot of the iRacing series are ready for it. I think the truck series would be good for the truck series. A lot of the open series I think would enjoy it quite a bit. There's a lot of green flag racing in there already, so I think having those extra couple laps, you know, maybe when at a track like Talladega or something where you need all the time in the world, since you got such a small lap count there, I think that'd be a good place for it.
Yeah, well, you see Matt Shanoski taking the wave around. He'll tack on to the back of the field. And cars are getting lined up too wide behind the pace car. So it's still Brad Speidel and Lowell Jewell up front. So it looks like we should be going back to green at the completion of lap number 6. So still 94 laps remain. Pace car is off. And the green flag is back out. Once again, Speidel gets off to a pretty good start. Ruben Altice with a great restart as well. He'll pull to the inside of Lowell Jewell for the second spot. They're going to be side by side for that position as they head down the back straightaway. Jewell with a slight advantage on the outside. And Lowell Jewell slides up the track, ends up connecting with that concrete retaining wall as the field checks up. Looks like J.R. Shepard may have gotten to the back of the 9 of Justin Morton. Everybody keeps it going in the right direction. Now Morton to the inside of Altice for that second spot as they head into turn number 3. So Justin Morton slides up the track, but Altice able to hold it down. He is going to give up the second position. Lowell Jewell's recovered. He now runs in 4th, but he has a bumper full of 98 of J.R. Shepard. Altice now going to try the outside again on the 9 of Justin Morton as Brad Speidel continuing to lead out in front in the 76 machine. We remain side by side for the second position, and caution is on the speedway. Looks like the 81 of Joe Segala, possibly the 23 of Brian Dean involved.
Yeah, and Dean was looking awful fast here in practice, so let's hope he can get that damage fixed and get back up there.
So we're watching along on the replay here. You see, looked like the 71 got loose up in the top groove, but I don't know if that was a contributing factor. But Segala goes around. Dean made contact as well. Those two cars probably the worst for wear. And that is definitely going to be a tough break for Brian Dean, who's been very fast. Yep, looks like the 6 of Kurt Smith got into him. Excuse me. 71 of the 87 also connected there, and Donnie Moore actually made pretty good contact with the 23. So a very eventful start to this event for Todd Liston, who's been involved in both cautions now. So a tough break for the driver of the 87 machine, and a little bit of an interesting start to this one.
Yeah, and tonight, it looks like tonight the name of the game is just going to be staying out of trouble. Hopefully these guys spread out a little bit and get some green flag racing. It's really hard when you got such a aggressive entry here at New Smyrna that you can take advantage of, and you got different breaking points, and these guys are really, really good at being calm and collected, but they're ready to go tonight.
Maybe they must have full moon mode enabled or something for this event. It's racing kind of like one of those full moon nights at the short track. We've all been there before, right, Jeff?
Oh yeah, the mini stocks are great for those. That every weekend is full moon night for the mini stocks.
Unfortunately, as a representative of a short track back home, I'm not allowed to make a comment. So it looks like the field doubling up. Ruben Altice is actually scored ahead of Justin Morton, so he'll get to restart outside of row 1. Altice was really digging on that outside groove, so we'll see if maybe he's using up the tires a little bit early and how this plays out. So should be completing lap 13 as we get back to green flag racing here. That's going to leave us with 87 laps, if my math is correct. So off of turn 4, green flag is back out. Speidel and Morton both get a pretty solid start. Morton's going to now have that inside line once again, but Ruben Altice making that outside work. I'm very surprised to see that working so well this early.
Yeah, I want to see it work, but this early, no rubber out there, I think he's doing more damage than good.
Well, don't look now, but the 99 of James Lowe's beginning to peek his nose up there, as the 98 of J.R. Shepard now gets to the inside of Altice for the third spot. Justin Morton, meanwhile, in car number 9, is closing in very quickly. He's now looking to the inside of the 76 of Spital. Not going to be able to get him that time, but now Shepard is past Altice, so he'll take command of the third spot, as we can see there in the rear view, looking back from Brad Spital at the 9 of Morton. Morton once again gets a good run down the straightaway. He's going to pull alongside into turn number 1. It's now going to be Morton and Spital doing battle for the top spot. What do you think we're going to see on this one, Jeff? Do you think Spital's going to lay over and maybe try to save it for the end, or do you think he's going to fight back?
I think he's doing a great job of fighting there on the outside, doing a lot more than you would expect this early in the race on that high side, but it looks like he just lost everything he had, and now we got a caution, and it's going to be rough.
Yeah, we could see in the background there the 96 of Bruce Pearson going around. That is what drew the caution here on lap number 18. We get a look, see Pearson in that Operation Sidekick number 96. So, following along here, and couldn't quite catch it in the mix of cars, but here we go. 96 at Pearson, you can see him with those colors that really stand out. Oh, yep, and maybe put the hammer down a little too hard off of turn 4 there, Jeff.
Yeah, and it's really too easy to do that here. You know, you're trying to get everything you can, and if you do get it just a little bit too much, and it looks like he might have had the left sides down there on the apron a little bit, and that might have helped him. He was already getting loose as he put the power down.
Well, Pearson, the driver out of Arvada, Colorado, is the reason for the caution. He is actually a security officer at the local school district down there in Colorado, and unfortunately could not keep the wheels secured down to the track as he broke traction and went around there to draw the caution. So our third caution that we're working right now, we are on lap 21 as they roll, but we have a new driver up front, Justin Morton in car number 9. He was our winner a few weeks back at the Martinsville Speedway at a race that was, we'll say, eventful. A lot of time behind the safety car there in Virginia. And looks like Morton may be able to capitalize on a similar situation here today.
He's going to have to capitalize on that situation, because if you look right behind him, he's got J.R. Shepard and James Lowe directly behind Brad Spital. So one car is saving him from getting fed to the sharks.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this restart plays out as the field doubles back up.
It's pretty awesome to see these guys hanging as tight as they are on the outside on these restarts. So that might get the rubber put down out there, and you might see some hard racing side by side.
Yeah, I've been very impressed with the way that outside groove has came in so early into this one. It's not necessarily a passing lane, but if you're up there, you're not necessarily giving everything up either. As the green flag is back out, Morton with a heck of a restart. And looks like the 98 of J.R. Shepard able to keep pace with him as he now moves right to the inside of the 76 of Spital for the second spot. And don't look now, but here comes James Lowe searching around the track. He gets to the back bumper of Shepard, so now he is to the inside of the 76. Things get a little bit tight off of turn 4. Oh, and Lowell Jewell and Ruben Altice make contact. Altice in the wall, Lowell Jewell collected as well, and Altice actually on his side. And looks like the 87 of Todd Liston once again having to find himself parked on the track trying to get away. And looks like,
wow, a lot of cars involved in that one.
Yeah, it looked like just
the 21 of, I believe that is John Hine, was involved in that. Bruce Pearson, Matt Shinosky, Tim Shinosky. Wow.
Yeah, that was about half the field right there. So this is going to be a really interesting perspective as we see the 19, the Lowell Jewell, catch him. It's almost like the 11 car may have slowed down or something. It's kind of out of character for Lowell Jewell to just kind of run over somebody like that. I'm guessing that it was probably somebody checking up in front of him, that maybe it was a chain reaction incident. But two cars that have been very fast today in the 11 of Altice and the 19 of Jewell. Unfortunately, they are the lead players in that caution. But as you can see, as we watch them head down the straightaway, Jeff, there's not very many cars that were left unscathed from that one.
Yeah, quite a bit of damage and took out. There was just nowhere for anyone to go. This track, while it is 3 lanes wide, it doesn't seem like there's that much room to go to. So there was just really nowhere for anyone to go. This collected the back half of the field.
Yeah, this is a track that's deceptively narrow. I feel like the racing surface itself is pretty wide. You have a couple grooves that you can race in pretty well. But if you have to take avoiding action like that, there's a wall all the way around the inside. So it's not like you can just drive it through the grass and come out the other side with no damage at all. I mean, there's a wall there. So if you have to duck and dive and dodge, and you're going to end up possibly in a world of hurt, as we saw during that last caution.
You may be able to dodge a car, but you cannot dodge a wall.
I'm not even mad at that one, Jeff. That was great. So field is doubled back up. We are on lap 28 right now with the 9 of Justin Morton, 98 of J.R. Shepard will now be your front row. Shepard did a great job of telegraphing the start that the 9 car did when he was behind him. But now they're going to be side by side as they come off the corner. Morton has control as the lead car, and he fires off quick, but Shepard doesn't let him get too far away, or maybe that second row was just caught napping a little bit, because Shepard and Morton, a pretty quick breakaway. Now James Lowe up on the high side. Looks like he'll just about have Speidel clear, and does pull down to take over the third spot as they head off into turn number 3. Justin Morton running about half a groove higher on the track than Shepard was that last time around. Now Shepard is the one that's a little bit higher up on the bank.
Yeah, and I think Shepard actually seen that Morton got a little bit of more of a drive off, and he's trying to take advantage of that as he sticks it right back down there on the yellow line, and it allows Morton to get a little bit more of an edge.
But these are drivers that do have a pretty high IQ when it comes to managing the race that are up in front now. Probably 3 of the top drivers in this class are 1, 2, 3 right now, with James Lowe now up to 3rd, and Lowe's actually beginning to look for a way to get around the 98 of Shepard.
Yeah, and these guys do battle each and every week, and we say this all the time, but these guys are so good at making a tire model that, you know, the average person on iRacing has struggled with, and these guys do so good at making it last a whole 100 laps.
Yeah, this Bootleg Racing League crew also, I mean, they race against each other week in and week out, pretty much every week of the year, and they're usually doing 3-4 races against each other a night. And these are guys that are very familiar with how each other race, and you can see that there's a lot of respect there when you watch the drivers, especially these 3 that we have up front, when you see how close and how hard they can race each other. And very rarely do we see these drivers make any huge mistakes or any overly aggressive moves.
Yeah, not just these 3 either, because Belke, you heard it in the pre-race interview, he has a lot of respect for everyone else too, as we go on board with Mike Holloway.
Yeah, Holloway, different colors this week. We've been used to him in the Sunny D car the last several races, so a bit of a different scheme on the 31, but nonetheless, he is marching his way up through the field. He actually started back in the 15th position, just completed a pass on Brad Speidel to take over 4th, so after a pretty rough go of it last week at Lanier, the 31 machine of Holloway is looking very stout tonight.
Yeah, and he's a guy that showed us a lot of speed here before, so it'd be interesting to see how long it takes him to reel in James Lowe, but he has been, at the end of the last season, he was probably our most consistent, or top 3 most consistent drivers in the lineup, so he's really trying to find his own here in this second season, or this next season.
Now, you mentioned mini stocks earlier in the broadcast, Jeff. Holloway, actually a former mini stock competitor at the Lonesome Pine Speedway in Coburn, Virginia, A little bit of real-world racing experience for the driver, the 31. He now resides over in Oklahoma and doing a great job here tonight. So we're going to jump back a little bit. Good battle we have going on for the 6th position. You can see Brian Dean as we hop in for his bird's eye view here as he works on the 17 of Chris Wolfson. Brian Dean was one of our top drivers in practice today, caught up in an earlier caution. It actually started 14th, has worked his way back up to the 7th position, Jeff.
Yeah, and we saw he was right there speed-wise with guys like Morton and Lowe and Shepard during practice. So it's all going to be about managing those tires as he comes through the field and makes his way up to that top 5. As you see him right there, great run on exit on Chris Wolfson.
That's right. Dean from Oshkosh, Wisconsin. So a hotbed of short track racing up there. Those Wisconsin guys want to take their racing to a whole different level than just about anybody else in the country. So I imagine he takes things pretty serious when he's behind the wheel here as well. And it's definitely showing as he now runs in the 6th position, getting past Wolfson.
And these guys with this real world experience coming in here and showing just how much respect they have for each and every one of these guys. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to watch. I know it's fun for me in the booth, and I know it's fun for it's got to be fun for our viewers at home. And hats off to these guys at showing what racing can be.
That is for sure. And keep in mind, this is an invitational series. The Bootleg Racing League doesn't just open it up to anybody. You do have to meet a certain standard before you can be invited to compete in this division. They kind of have a tiered lineup of divisions. They race modifieds and dirt street stocks and a couple other classes here at the Bootleg Racing League. So these are drivers that have proved their mettle behind the wheel. As we take a look back to the 8th position, Matt Shanoski, that car looking a little worse for wear as a caution is out here on lap 46. Looks like maybe the 11 of Ruben Altice might have been involved. Looks like he dropped to the back of the lineup. Maybe the 71 of John Hine.
John Hine.
So we're going to take a quick look back here.
Oh wow, big checkup by John Hine and just Lowell Jewell just had nowhere to go.
So we're going to take a look here. Yeah, it looks like Hine may have been a little bit slow off the corner, and Jewell stuck his nose in there, and unfortunately they were going for the same piece of real estate, it looks like. You can ride along with Lowell, or no, we're on board with John Hine here. Yeah, must have gotten out of shape or something, because he majorly lifted off the gas, and Lowell Jewell with no time to react there, just piling in. So this race, after starting second, Lowell Jewell unfortunately having just about a nightmare of a race here.
Yeah, and it's just these guys are need to calm down a little bit, and then they'll get back into shape, and we'll be good to go. And that just rough start. You know, we're halfway through here, and these guys are battling like it's lap 99, and really to them, it might be.
Well, you know, when you have drivers like Lowell, who was running up towards the front, got mixed up in a caution, and has been having to try to recover and make his way back up through the field. I mean, sometimes you do get a little bit angry, a little bit fed up, and sometimes you drive a little bit harder than you would normally. And when you get that kind of focus going on behind the wheel, it does not always translate to the best results on the track, so to speak. Sometimes an angry driver can be a lot quicker, and sometimes a frustrated driver can just compound their day, and things end up going worse. You know, none of these incidences that we've had to deal with have really been at the fault of the 19 car. He's just kind of been wrong place, wrong time, and I imagine he's got to be about punching his wheel right now.
I've been there. I have been there. I have been frustrated. Just there's nothing you can do. Everywhere you go, you're just caught up in something else to happen, and like you said, it is very frustrating, and sometimes it is hard to reel back your mindset and know where you've been and get to where you're going.
So green flag is back out now for Justin Morton in car number 9. We are at the halfway point. 50 laps completed, 50 laps to go. Morton on the inside in car number 9 with J.R. Shepard now going to work on the outside. So Shepard must believe that that outside line can work. Oh, and
Big
we
wreck.
have another caution out.
Kurt Smith got out of shape and got Liston.
I feel like the way the night's gone for Todd Liston, if there's a caution, chances are he, in one way or another, ended up somehow being caught up in it. As we're taking a look at the replay now, focused on the 87 of Liston. And you can see that car already showing some heavy damage. Oh, Kurt Smith and Austin Belke got together. Smith just came across the track. Liston really doing nothing wrong there. He literally just got caught up in somebody else's wreck.
Yeah, it looked like the 6 of Kurt Smith might have gotten loose, and that's what started the initial contact with him and Belke.
Yeah, exactly. So working yet another caution here at New Smyrna Speedway. We are past the halfway point now as we work lap 53. It's still Justin Morton out in front. But interestingly enough, the last few restarts before that one, the 98 of Shepard, his goal seemed to get to the bottom of the track and follow along. And this time, he actually was in the outside trying to hang with Justin Morton. So maybe Shepard sees something in that outside groove, and hopefully he didn't show his cards a little too early with that caution coming out.
Yeah, and he's definitely going to have to take advantage of anything he can find here, as we're not getting those long green flag runs that maybe him in Lowe can take advantage of.
That's another good point as well. And you know, you look at drivers like Shepard, who's really good at managing the car over a long run, without having these long runs, and maybe these other drivers not using up their equipment. This may make J.R. Shepard, I guess, make him human, so to speak. That extra special skill he seems to have, maybe he may not be able to display tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely going to have to. He's definitely just going to have to manage what he can on these short runs, and maybe watch the restarts, see if he can find something that Morton's doing that he can kind of take advantage of here, early in the run.
Yeah, that's another thing. We spend a lot of time tooting the horn at J.R. Shepard, but you got to give a huge call to Justin Morton, who has managed these restarts really well since he's gotten to the point, and is really able to change up what he's doing each and every time we take the green. And there's been quite a few times that he's had to take the green, and he's been able to defend every time so far. He's got a lot of really talented drivers surrounding him on the track right now. So this has not necessarily been a cakewalk for the 9 car. The cautions are definitely helping, I'm sure. But Justin Morton, a very talented driver we have out there in the 9 car, and he's looking to pick up his second win of the season here in Florida today as the pace car drops off the track. Green flag is out. We are back underway. This is lap 57 that we are on now. So Morton gets clear. Shepard falls in line, and now the 99 of James Lowe on the outside will move back into the 3rd spot, getting around the 31 of Holloway. Justin Morton way up the track in that full-on second groove at this point, Jeff.
And there's a big check up there, and dropped James Lowe back, and was able to get Mike Holloway to maybe get a little bit closer and have him within his grasp, as he was getting pressure from Brian Dean.
So Brian Dean, another driver on a march back up through the field. Holloway and Dean in 4th and 5th right now. Actually started 15th and 14th on the track. So these drivers have came from deep in the field. And in the case of the 23, Dean has been involved in one of the cautions tonight. So a great recovery drive by Dean. Started behind the 8 ball and has actually overcame a lot of adversity to be where he's at on the track. And you can see right now the 99 of James Lowe looking back at the 31 of Holloway. At the restart, Holloway was ahead, but James Lowe was able to get back by to run in that 3rd spot. Not a big distance between those two, though, Jeff.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time. Lowe and Holloway are going to find their way up here. James Lowe is one of the best at managing tires, as we've seen Oh, wow, that's rough. Donnie Moore blown up on the bottom.
So we're going to take a look. 26 of Donnie Moore. Yeah, there he is. See, when all that black smoke comes out of the back of the car, typically not a good thing, Jeff. Ooh,
Yeah, he hit the inside wall really, really hard, and that's going to end his night if he has already used up the quick repair, and I believe he has.
Yeah, you can see just getting turned right towards that inside wall. And yeah, that's not how that car's supposed to look, that's for sure, as we actually have a caution out on the track right now.
Chris Wolfson involved.
It looks like maybe Wolfson and Smith. So bring up the replay on that one.
Ooh, Wolfson just out of just big checkup, and Lowell Jewell gets him, and in the spin down the track, he collects Kurt Smith, unfortunately.
Yeah, heavy damage on that 6 car. And Smith really had nowhere to go. And that's almost identical to what happened to Lowell Jewell just a couple cautions ago. Driver in front of him had to let off, and once again given no time to react. So continuing to be a very difficult night for Lowell Jewell in the 19th.
And I'm curious to see what exactly is causing these big checkups like that. Are they just, do they got too much speed, or are they trying to catch a loose race car, or I wonder what's going on.
I mean, it's been identical incidences every time. Same thing, drivers having to let off big time on the inside as they come off of the corner. And I'm thinking maybe they're just getting it, trying to get back to it a little bit too soon, and or letting up to gather the car back up. It's really hard to know for sure, but these guys are definitely having some trouble in that particular spot on the track.
Yeah, they're definitely. I do feel like we're on the right track there. I think on the right track, as we. I think they're catching a loose car as we get Joe Segala for our mid-race interview.
Yeah, we're gonna talk to Joe Segala in the 81 here. Joe, the track's looking a little hard to race tonight. What's going on out there?
Just a little slick off the corners. You really got to make sure that you got good throttle control, otherwise you can spin it out coming off. At least that's what I'm struggling with.
Now, it seems like there's been a lot of stuff happening. Some of it's been happening around you tonight as well, Joe. How do you feel your race is going? I know you're running a little bit further back than you'd probably like to.
Yeah, starting up front, I was hoping I'd have a better night than what I'm having. But I've been able to avoid the last 3 accidents in a row, so maybe my luck's changing.
Yeah, that's hopefully a possibility for you, Joe. What do you think your prospects are with the last 30 or so laps here?
I think as long as I can keep my nose clean, I might come out here with a top 10 finish.
All right, well, we'll let you get back to it, Joe. Thanks for stopping in and talking to us. That was Joe Segala, driver of the number 81 machine. Currently runs 12th on the track. So field's doubled up. We are on lap 69 right now. So it'll be lap 70 once we get back underway. Pace car is off the track, and we are back underway. The 9 of Justin Morton with another great restart, but the 98 of J.R. Shepard looking to challenge on the outside, and Mike Holloway and James Lowe continuing to duke it out for that 3rd spot. Shepard's still hanging on in the outside line. They are going to be door to door as they come off of turn 4 back to the line, and it looks like Shepard had him at the line.
That was a strong run on exit by Shepard, and we're seeing that top line. I was hoping and praying for it, and it came in enough for him to be able to use it. That was awesome. Great move by Shepard.
But I think the 31 of Mike Holloway also moved into 3rd using the outside line, as did the 23 of Brian Dean to move up into 4th. So that outside groove is really starting to come in. as J.R. Shepard uses it to take the lead over the 9 of Justin Morton. So our third leader of the race now is J.R. Shepard.
Yeah, and if they can move up to that second line, that keeps them away from that ice rink that is the apron, and that'll do good on those tires later in the run. As J.R. Shepard gets a huge run off.
Yeah, after he tried it a couple of the restarts ago, I had to wonder if maybe he had that tucked in his hat to use later on. So we're going to take a look on board with the 9 of Justin Morton, looking at the 98 of Shepard. And looks like that 9 car surging around, trying to find somewhere to go to get that lead back. But the 98 car is looking pretty stout tonight. Ooh, and Morton actually looks like he may have tagged the wall a little bit there.
And Morton able to keep the pressure on J.R. Shepard. And you've seen that as good as Shepard is, if you keep the pressure on him, that's probably your best chance at getting to goof up or spin the tires on exit. And that's your chance. You're going to have to take advantage of it.
That's for sure. He's going to have to keep the pressure on. And I mean, for a driver like J.R. Shepard that's won so many of these events, you're definitely going to have to keep that pressure on pretty strong to get JR to make a mistake.
And these guys are just pulling away from the rest of the field. Even as hard as they look to be pushing it, they are gapping Mike Holloway.
So we're going to take a look at that battle between Holloway, Dean, and Lowe for the third spot. We've mentioned them a couple times. Holloway and Dean have both been bad fast all day. The 99 of James Lowe is another driver that has been pretty strong all race long, as now the 23 of Dean to the inside of Holloway for that final podium position. And James Lowe really just looking for somebody to follow at this point.
Yeah, and if Dean gets through there and Lowe gets low enough, he will be on by Mike Holloway too, as Holloway looks like he's not doing as well on the top side.
Saw Brad Speidel in the background there get a little bit out of shape. That's going to allow the 07 of Tim Shinosky to get by. So Shinosky's going to move up into that 6th position. But this battle, pretty great for that third spot. The 31 car, Holloway, not doing a bad job there in the outside.
No, he's hanging tough there. I don't think he's going to have enough to get away from him, but he definitely has enough to stay with them.
Well, if Holloway's hanging tough, the new kid on the block in this battle is going to be the 99 of James Lowe. As Lowe did stick his nose in there, Lowe actually looked like he was going to think about making it 3 wide there for a second.
And I highly suggest against it here, even as well as these guys are. 3 wide is not going to work here on exit.
Yeah, 3 wide probably pushing it, but I gotta say, it looked like he was going to try to shoot the gap there for a second.
And I'd like to paint you a better picture, but it looks like J.R. Shepard is pulling away from Justin Morton.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be Ooh, Brian Dean gets a little bit out of shape there. So that may have been a happy accident for Dean to not end up in the wall. But now he's got to contend with James Lowe. Ooh, and looks like they make contact. Lowe ends up in the wall, as the caution did come out. Not for that incident, but a caution is on the speedway, trying to track down what may have been the root cause of that.
Looks like Matt Shinosky got in trouble.
We'll give a kickstart to our restart machine here. Is Shinosky on the track, and
another one of those huge checkups, and Lowell Jewell just the right place at the wrong time.
yeah, you know, honestly, I saw Todd Liston and Lowell Jewell in that replay with Shinosky, and I figured one of the two of them was going to end up being involved the way the night's gone for both of them. Unfortunately, it's Lowell Jewell and the 00 of Shinosky, Matt Shinosky, making contact there, and that will draw the caution. So just a continued night of frustration for Lowell Jewell. He still does run in the 9th position, but I imagine he's about ready to punch something.
I mean, as hard as he punched Matt Shinosky there, I think he needs to calm down a little bit. And as we go back, get ready to go back green here, it has been all Justin Morton and J.R. Shepherd here late in the run. And this is going to be the battle here to the finish. This is going to be a great finish. We're just getting ready to go back 2x2 here as they cross the line with about 12 to go.
Jeff, I really don't appreciate you shutting off my internet like that.
Wow, that was rough. Evidently you didn't. The internet did not like my my punch pun.
Yeah, that or maybe I was supposed to pay a bill last month. I don't know. Either way, apparently my internet company wanted money, and yeah, apparently you have to pay for that now. I don't know when they started doing that. Either way, with 11 laps remaining, looks like it's going to be about 10 to go when we get to the line. And green flag is back out.
Wow, Shepherd way out there, and that was the restart he needed to pull away from Morton.
Well, Morton is definitely trying to make do there in the second spot. You got to keep your eye on that 23 of Brian Dean, though. He has been so fast this entire race, and this is as close as he's been able to get to the top two.
And I really, really think these guys... Oh, wow, Mike Holloway gets a little check up, and Tim Shinosky gets him a little bit. That's going to give him the 4th spot.
So Shepherd is the man up top as the 07 and Tim Shinosky just marching his way back up in the Kmart car. Looking like it may be a post-bankruptcy Kmart-sponsored car, the way that thing's all wadded up.
Yeah, and it looks like Mike Holloway might actually just be getting fed up with getting bounced around back there because he put the pressure on low. As Morton is actually getting ready to put pressure on Shepherd, and we get a caution, that's going to bunch them all back up, and it's going to take a great restart from J.R. Shepherd.
Yeah, it looks like Pearson and Seidel were the two primary characters in that one, at least at the end. So hopping into the replay here, see the 76 of Speidel gets up pretty close to the wall there. And looks like Lowell Jewell and Todd Liston both a little bit mixed up in that one. Jewell makes contact with Speidel. Liston chain reaction into the back of the 19, and that ends up catching a couple other people involved as well. The 96 of Pearson looks to be the worst for wear.
And it looks like Speidel just came across the nose of the boss man a little bit there, and it caused him to go around and collect the rest of them, and that's just how the night is gone for Lowell Jewell.
Yeah, it seems like just about every caution we've unfortunately had either Lowell Jewell, Todd Liston, or both of them that get tangled up in it. So just a throwaway night for those two drivers, it seems like.
And even with the night that they've had, they're still 7th, 8th, and 9th. So that is going to work out actually for them for next week because they're going to be starting on the pole, the dyno inversion.
So just 4 laps remaining in this one. This division does not have green-white checker finishes. Lights are still on the safety car, so we'll see if we do get a chance to get this one back underway. I imagine there's at least a few drivers there that are hoping and praying that this one gets back to have another shot at time to take the win away from J.R. Shepherd.
Yeah, I know one of them is Justin Morton. He was in the exact same situation just a couple weeks ago, and he was actually the beneficiary of not having that green-white checkers. He fought all night to keep it up there, and then when the time came, it just fell right into his hands. So he's been on that in Shepherd's shoes before, and he knows what is at stake.
So you can see the lights on top of the safety car still bouncing back and forth on that light bar. And that 9 car of Morton is awfully antsy to see those lights go out as we come back around. And
the
they
lights
are out.
Off.
So we are going to be back underway. It's going to be a 1-lap shootout here at the New Smyrna Speedway. Field gets doubled up behind the safety car. Just 1 lap to settle it all. What do you think is going to happen, Jeff?
I think everything lays on this restart right here. Justin Morton's going to be hard on the loud pedal, and he's going to have to perfect this, where the jump is and how Shepherd gets as we come down into 3 and 4.
Well, cross your fingers and your toes. We have 1 lap to settle the score. J.R. Shepherd with a tremendous restart. He gets to the bottom of the track. Tim Shinosky and Brian Dean, meanwhile, battling for 3rd. And Dean gets a little bit out of shape. Oh, we've got a car going around. But nonetheless, this is the last lap, so we are going to stay green off of turn 4. Checkered flag is out. Your winner is going to be the 98 of J.R. Shepherd over the 9 of Justin Morton as the fireworks go off over on the back straightaway at the completion of another great event for the Bootleg Racing League. As we show you the fireworks show here at New Smyrna Speedway, we are going to step away for just a moment, but don't go anywhere. We'll have your complete finishing order, interviews with your top 3 drivers, and even more fun here to close things out. So we're going to step aside and catch our breath, but you don't go anywhere. All right, as you can see, looking at the scoreboard there, a familiar name in victory lane here at New Smyrna Speedway. The 98 of J.R. Shepherd taking the win. I believe that's his 2nd straight, 3rd or 4th this season. Justin Morton comes home in 2nd. After leading several laps today, Tim Shanoski comes from deep in the field, started 17th out of 18 cars, and he comes home in third after a last lap pass for the position. Brian Dean settling for fourth after a very solid run, with James Lowe completing the top 5. Mike Holloway, an up and down day for the driver of the 31 machine. He comes home in 6th, with Lowell Jewell surviving all the chaos that pretty much seemed to encompass him throughout the race to come home in 7th. Matt Shanoski 8th. Chris Wolfson 9th, and another driver that had a pretty rough night recovers to finish 10th. That's the 87 of Todd Liston.
Brad Speidel, after starting on the pole here, he comes home in 11th. Joe Segala in 12th. Bruce Pearson 13th. Ruben Oxys 14th. John Hine 15th, 12 laps down. Kurt Smith 16th. Donnie Moore 17th. And Austin Belke with a rough night just rounds out the field in 18th.
That is your finishing order here today. We're going to catch a word with our winner, J.R. Shepard. Well, J.R., another victory, your second one in a row, and does it ever get old?
Not with the competition level that we have here. Guys like Justin and James and Tim and Brian, all those guys, they're normally the guys that are up front each week racing hard. So as long as that kind of competition's here, it's a lot of fun.
Now, towards the back or towards the end of the race, you made that move to the outside of Justin Morton to take the lead. What gave you the confidence in that second groove to make that pass?
I had been saving my tires most of that run. I knew that the rear tires are going to come into play late in this race, but we kept having caution, so. Justin was definitely better than me on the short run, and I knew that I had to try to do something on one of these restarts, and he got a good enough restart there. I didn't think I was going to be able to get to his outside, but I threw it in there, and thankfully it stuck. The rear end didn't come around on me, and it was just enough to get beside him, and he raced me clean. He could have ran me up into the wall, but he raced me clean, so thanks to him for that.
Now lost my train of thought there for a second. But with such a diverse schedule, with all these different short tracks, where does New Smyrna kind of rank on your list of favorites that you guys hit with this series?
We don't seem like we run here every year, but I like New Smyrna. It's one of those tracks where you can battle and make it too wide once the tires wear out. It seems like right after restart you can race, and then you got to get about 20 or 25 laps, and you can start to race again. So, but it's one of those tracks again where you've got multiple grooves and makes it a lot of fun.
All right, JR, who do you want to thank that helped make the win possible tonight?
Yeah, just thanks to Lowell for the Bootleg Racing League and the Cruise Shop for being a great title sponsor with us, and thanks to you guys for everything you do with the broadcast. You make us look good each week, so really appreciate it.
All right, well, once again, congratulations to your winner, J.R. Shepard, and Jeff Smith now is going to catch up with our runner-up tonight, the 9 car of Justin Morton.
Justin, you did a great job of holding JR there off in the first half of the race. Just he got you with that outside lane in the restart. What was going through your head as he powered down?
Yeah, I knew once he got to my outside, I probably didn't have much chance of holding him off. I was really wishing I could choose the outside line on that restart, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and New Smyrna is just a different animal, and you managed to battle tonight. We go to Southern National next week. How do you feel about going down there?
I'm trying to remember Southern National. It's been a while since I've driven it, but I love any short track, so I'll be happy to run it.
And as we close out the night, do you have anybody you'd like to thank?
I'd like to thank my team, TDR, Blackbox, OpenWheeler.com, Lowell for Running League, Cruise Shop for sponsoring us, and you guys for doing the broadcast.
All right, and that is Justin Morton, and we'll see you next week, buddy.
Yep.
All right, going to catch up with our third place finisher now, Tim Shanoski, driver of the 07 car. Tim, she looked a little rough there at the end. Tell us about your night.
Well, it started out a little rough too. Got caught up in a couple of incidents there towards the beginning, and I made my pit stop for damage, and fortunately, the car wasn't too bad, and I was able to still have a good amount of pace and was able to work my way up through the field.
Now, you started 17th and had to pass a lot of cars. Was it the amount of cautions that allowed you to get through it so quick, or do you think maybe some luck played into your hand?
Well, I think it was a bit of luck and just having those cautions. It was a bit of an advantage to restart on the outside because the bottom lane would get checked up on restart. So if you could keep up on the outside, you're able to maybe pass a car or two before the next caution came out, and that might put you in another good position. So it was kind of cause and effect there. I was able to continue to gain spots by continuing to restart on the outside.
All right. Now, anyone you want to thank that has helped make tonight possible for you, Tim?
Well, I just want to thank the Cruise Shop for sponsoring this series so we can have the broadcast, and hope to see everyone next week.
All right. Sounds good, Tim. Hopefully we'll be talking to you next week. That was Tim Shanoski, third place finisher tonight. So race fans, while we wrap things up here, we do want to thank some of the following. The Cruise Shop, once again, our sponsor for the series. You can reach them at 260-755-6125 or visit thecruiseshopfw.com. We'd also like to thank the Bootleg Racing League for allowing us to host their events each and every week. And I want to thank the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast listed here on your screen, as well as the very talented June Lalone, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. I also want to thank the crew today, Jeff, Sean, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com, or check us out on social media on Twitter at GSR Channel, on Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and on Instagram at GSRC_Graham. Don't forget to head on over to our YouTube page and hit that big red subscribe button as well so you don't miss a single moment of racing here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. For fans of the Bootleg Racing League, we'll be back in action the exact same time 1 week from today, headed down to Southern National Speedway. That's Saturday, May 9th, 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll go live. We also have other upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. And until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.